Women's Sports Mix.
Cambridge Radio.
Welcome to the Women's Sports Mix. I'm Amy Gray.
And I'm Alex Elbro.
Which makes us
the A-Team.
And this is our first episode of 2026. We have a lot to catch up on, some incredible results to tell you about from our local teams. We also have drama.
Ba, ba, ba.
So much drama at the Women's Sports Mix. Kicking off 2026, who do you think is the biggest drama llama out of me and Alex?
Now, I think, you see, people, I bet you're going to think it's me, but I'm going to say maybe not.
It's definitely me, isn't it?
Yes. Sorry. I mean, we both have our moments, let's face it.
But in this instance, I brought the drama.
You did bring the drama.
We will discuss that later. So, for our interview, because of the drama that we will reveal later, you've done the interview this week,
Yes,
Alex.
I've spoken to Phoebe Jackson. She's the captain of the Women's Blues rugby team at the University of Cambridge. And Fabs Howell, who we've spoken to before, who plays for Great Shelford, but she's also the operation manager at Cambridge University Rugby Union Football Club. And we'll find out how Phoebe got into rugby, her role as captain, what's been happening with the team this year, and find out all about the university varsity rugby games.
And those results I mentioned, wins for the Kodiaks, wins for Histon ladies. I catch up with Kodiaks captain Christina Ashley about ice hockey and poetry.
Yeah, that's not two things I'd put together necessarily.
Let's find out who the poet is at Cambridge Kodiaks. We're also talking to Histon ladies assistant manager Liz Pamplin, and we'll review all the other football action from our local teams, including Cambridge United Women. It's a packed show tonight.
It certainly is. Great one to be back for the first one of 2026.
Yes, welcome back to the Women's Sports Mix, first episode of 2026. And Christmas does kind of feel like a while ago now, but we haven't been on air, have we, Alex?
No, we
Since
haven't.
before then. So we're just going to tell you about some gift exchanges that happened here at the Women's Sports Mix. We did exchange gifts this year.
We
which
did.
is nice.
Yes, it is. I think this should be a new thing. I mean, we could do it as a Secret Santa in the future, but
the two of us.
The two of us. But exactly, it doesn't really hold much surprise.
Maybe we'll bring like my dog Debbie into it.
Yes.
We'll have a third person. And Alex was laughing when she gave me the gift,
yes,
so I knew it was going to be good.
Well, I had what I thought was a light bulb moment of brilliant present, though I say it myself, but then I was so excited to give it to you, and I always wanted you to open it at the time, but I said no, keep it for Christmas and you can carry on now with. Do you want me to say what happened before then? Oh no, because you have to tell people what it was.
Do you want me to say what it is first?
Yeah.
So it was a mug with us on it. Us, me.
The A-Team.
The A-Team.
Which was the bit that made me giggle the most.
This was the bit that Alex added some sort of like, just shoehorned in some
text at the bottom of our feet.
That just says, the A-Team. Sometimes you got to back yourself.
Exactly. Well, I had this idea of like, why don't we get one of the pictures from our awards night? I might say.
Yeah, so Women's Sports Mix. I mean, I think we've mentioned it enough. We won Sports Show of the Year at the Community Radio
I thought
Awards.
we need to celebrate this,
didn't we?
Not only with an award, but with a mug. So every day when you look at it, you can remember the good times. And so I found a photo of us and managed to get it onto mugs. And I said I'd get myself one as well, because obviously that makes more sense, not just to give you one and then I never see. Exactly, yeah. Matchy. And then you came round before Christmas and we were sitting chatting, weren't we? And you hadn't opened, obviously, your present at that point. You came to give me my Christmas gift, which I will say was also very well.
It's also ridiculous.
Received, exactly. I realised my mug was sitting on the shelf when you came in. And so as I was making tea, I was like, oh, hang on. And I literally, when you weren't looking, did the thing of putting it in the cupboard and hid it behind
like
all
a
the other ones.
magician,
Exactly.
sleight of hand.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So quick. But I also want to thank you for your lovely present, which was a pack of caramel wafers ready for all our sports when we go to watch matches. And they came in very handy at Shelford when we went to see the rugby this weekend, didn't they?
We did. We'll
talk about that more later.
Wafers, and I think your family also wanted some of the wafers.
I did.
Well.
I got into a bit of an argument because two of them had gone missing. before I went to take them. I was like, those are for my matches, me and Amy. Exactly. Yeah.
Because we had talked about Tunnock's tea cakes, and you'd said at the time, I like the Tunnock's wafer.
Yes.
I do.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
So that's the one for me. So I thought it would be funny.
It was funny
to get you some of
and
those.
so then I've got them ready. I had them in my bag ready for when we went to the match on a Sunday.
Like a snack. And also the last bit about Christmas Gladiators, because they have the celebrities competing. It's Alex's favourite show. So we're just going to briefly discuss it, because actually it was really controversial.
I think it was. I think it was. And I was messaging you, wasn't I, saying, hang on a minute.
Yeah.
So the Christmas Gladiators like every show, they had their Christmas specials. They probably made it in like June or something.
So for the women's final, it's Nicola Adams, the former boxer, and
2 gold medals.
Yeah, and Vogue Williams, who is I think they might have called her a podcaster actually, but she's kind of does a lot of the celebrity stuff.
She's married to one of the ones of Made in Chelsea, isn't
Spencer
she? Yeah,
Matthews?
Yeah, who has done a lot of ultra marathons recently.
He's done a lot of stuff.
And she seems like a very nice person. She's very tall and very leggy, very limby. No, that's not the word, is it? Like long limbs, that's the word. Mm-hmm. And she even said at the beginning, I really haven't got any upper body strength. So, I mean, I could feel for her in that sense. And the whole thing went on. Half the time they don't really get any points. All they do, that one where you run across, I never know the names of anything, where you run across.
Collision.
And they kind of swing, like, is that called collision?
Something like that.
But anyway, I think Nicola Adams did very well in that. And she got quite a good head start, didn't she, I think? For the end part. For when I say head start, it's like 4 seconds or something. I mean, Joe Wicks and Sam, they had like half a second or something. So he literally blew. He literally blew. So that was a waste of time. But Vogue was struggling from the beginning just to even get over the bars and go under the bars. Now I can't say that's rubbish, because I wouldn't be able to. I'd have to just run under them, I think, or run round them. But when it got to the rope, she tried for a few times to get up the rope, and Nicola Adams just like straight up it. They gave her a ladder. Now, when is that in the rules? So, of course, she zoomed up this ladder and caught up with Nicola Adams. And also, I think Nicola Adams still had a bit of a head start, but she again failed. She went down. I think she slipped on the balance beam because they've made it harder now.
It goes up and down now.
Yeah, have you seen it? It looks really hard now. So she lost some time. She fell on the thing. Vogue straight past. I mean, she's got massively long legs, and she won it. If I was Nicola Adams, I would be really annoyed.
It was a really close finish, and Vogue won, and it did seem a touch unfair, because rope climbing really takes it out of you.
Yeah. I mean, I feel for a celebrity one, okay, they're trying to be that, but then don't put an athlete against a celebrity and then give the celebrity a ladder. I mean, I could definitely do that. I could definitely walk up a ladder. Although she won, and I think Vogue is a very nice person, I still think if I was Nicola Adams, I would have been quite annoyed.
Outrage.
Yeah, exactly.
And Gladiator starts this weekend, doesn't it?
Yes, this Saturday. What's that? The 17th of January.
Women's Sports Mix.
Cambridge Radio.
So we had a trip to Shelford Rugby.
We did.
At the weekend. Weekend just gone.
It was very good.
And it was dominant. Tell us the score.
Oh, well, it was 49-0. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I think it's 0. We got down there before the match, said hello to them all. Also noticed that they're all, while training, wearing massive dry robes now, which is definitely not back in the day.
Those being handed out.
Yeah, I did say to Amy at one point, do you think they'd lend them to us while they're playing, because it was really cold. We had a lot of layers on. We weren't being stupid, but it was bitter, and it started.
And there was a really good crowd there.
It was,
bearing in mind the weather was. It really was cold, wasn't it?
Yeah. It was really good, and so this was the game. It was Peterborough against Shelford, and it was the first game back for 2026, and now they were supposed to play Peterborough in the Cup, and if you remember back to last time, they've now had 2 byes where 2 teams have had to pull out of the Cup, and one of those was Peterborough, so they were saying it'd be interesting to see. They haven't played them this year, and sort of seemed to start well, and then Shelford were definitely the most dominant team, and it
was all Shelford, wasn't it? Really?
Yeah. It was great, and it was great to see the lineups and things. Line-outs.
Yeah.
I think I just said line-up, but the line-outs, and see them actually playing in action, because we saw them when we went to training, but it felt like it was very different. They were very focused, and not they weren't at training, but you know what I mean. And I was really pleased that Fabs won forward of the match, and Jess Norris won the back of the match. And there was, well, as you can see, it was 49-0, so there was definitely a lot of tries, and some of the kicking wasn't quite on target. I don't know if it was very windy, but they weren't getting many over for the penalty, the kick after a try, but it didn't really matter for this.
And several stops for injuries as well.
Yes, because there was quite a lot of extra time actually, wasn't there, afterwards, and we couldn't work out what time because the board had the scores on, it had a countdown, didn't it, and then it just stopped, and then we had no time. We didn't put up what
it was on for part of the game.
Yeah, it was on and off.
Not all of it.
I'm not sure whether they were planning on using it or didn't, and I'm going to say halfway through they had to put the floodlights on, didn't they, because it got really dark.
Very dark as well.
Yeah,
but it was good, wasn't it? Good entertainment.
It was good.
Fun,
it was really good.
It
was really good to watch. Say, like you were saying, it's a really good crowd. Lots of family members there. I think some people may have been playing rugby in the morning and thought they'd come to stay on and see what the match is like. Lovely atmosphere in the bar, and
and you can park there as well
very easily. Yes, so it was all great stuff. And we look forward to going again, maybe when it's a bit warmer.
Yes, we like our warm weather. And next, we'll be speaking to Fabs as well as Phoebe Jackson from the University Rugby. She's the captain there. But it's only going to be Alex talking to them because...
Yes, and this is we're talking about the drama. What happened? I was on my way here, wasn't I, to record it with them, meeting them here. Well, we both were. That was the thing. And you messaged me, didn't you? Well, no, you phoned me.
I phoned you.
And you're like, my
Alex,
car won't start.
I said, but it's okay. I said, I left loads of time.
Exactly. This was like an hour before, wasn't it? You were like, my car won't start, but all the lights are on, I think it was, wasn't it? And it wouldn't lock.
It wouldn't lock. It was the 12-volt battery. So, but I didn't know that time. I thought maybe I'd be able to work it out, and I couldn't. And
because you'd driven it that day, hadn't you?
I'd driven it like a few hours before, and we were meeting them here. This is the thing with radio and having guests, and unfortunately for me, there just wasn't enough time for me to get here by taxi once the car situation had been worked out.
Yes, because you couldn't just leave the car because it wasn't
all
locked.
Open. So I've missed out. But coming up next, you can still hear a great interview with Alex speaking to Fabs and Phoebe about university rugby and varsity matches.
This is Cambridge Radio, Women's Sports Mix.
Well, I'm really pleased to be talking to two guests today in the world of rugby. Now, we have spoken about Shelford Rugby quite a lot with Fabs, but she's here today with someone else, Phoebe Jackson, known as Jacko in the rugby world, of course. And do you want to explain your connection and what you're doing?
So yes, you all know me as Fabs and have heard that I play at Shelford Rugby, but in my working life I'm the operations manager at Cambridge University Rugby Club, and I brought Jacko with me today.
Hello, I'm the women's captain for this season, and I bother Fabs with questions every single day.
So, Phoebe, we haven't really spoken about the Cambridge University women's rugby. I say we've spoken more about Shelford and what's going on in those leagues. So how did you first get started in rugby before you even got to become the women's captain?
So I grew up in Winchester, and the house that I lived in was on the same road as the Winchester Rugby Club. So every Sunday I'd go down and started playing rugby from the age of 5. Classic situation at that time of only girl on the boys team, because women's rugby just wasn't really that big back then. So I played with them until I was probably, I think, about 8, maybe, I can't really remember, but around that age, until we had done like a year of contact with the boys, and then they said, oh, okay, it's time for you to stop. You can't play contact with the boys anymore, it's not safe, you have to move to a girls' team. But there was no girls' team for me to move to. So I only really then kept playing at primary school. I had a fantastic teacher called Mrs. Little, who was very encouraging and encouraged me to join in with the school boys rugby team. But then when I went to secondary school, after that I just moved on to other sports, so tennis, athletics, cross country, and actually did those all the way right up until university. I did my undergraduate at Durham. So when I first went there, I actually originally played tennis for Durham. But tennis is such like a solo individual sport, and I really wanted something that would help me make friends. And actually towards basically right before COVID interrupted my degree, I found the girls rugby team at Durham, so I started then.
So that's really interesting, because we've spoken to lots of people. It's the same old story, which is heartbreaking. And when you look back now, you can't really believe that they didn't think girls could play rugby or should play rugby. I mean, look at the success of the Red Roses this last year now. But it's interesting that you did go on to do other sports at least. You weren't completely taken off, but then they weren't team sports, though. All of those are individual sports, aren't they? So it's interesting that you didn't feel that you wanted to play, say, netball or hockey particularly, or did you?
I did. I dabbled in many, but my sort of the sports that I took most seriously were individual solo sports.
So when you went to university and then sort of found the rugby team, did you remember everything you were playing, or have you followed rugby in the men's rugby, I guess, for knowing what was going on?
Actually, not really. Thankfully, I remembered to pass the ball backwards. That was the main thing. But in terms of actual like full 15s rules, that was completely new to me. So when I started playing there, I had a hell of a lot of catching up to do and a lot to learn. So that was a real baptism of fire. Yeah,
but I think that's also quite common, isn't it, when people start rugby at uni, because that's the first place that it's available for lots of people. Some schools may and may not do it, but it's very rare. Lots of schools don't even play rugby for the boys either. So I guess it's one of those things, isn't it? But if you're playing at university level, a lot of people are trying it for the first time. So I guess you've probably got that start. Everyone's a lot of people are starting in the same place.
Yeah, definitely. A lot of the girls who start at Carufka, the Cambridge women's team, so many of them have never picked up a rugby ball before, but it's fantastic. Some of our, I would say, like most iconic old girls, which is what we call our alumni players, are girls that came over from completely different sports, and you could just see that like they were born to play rugby, and everything about them, they just made them like so athletically suited to the game. And so they may have been distracted along the way by basketball or netball or something like that.
Entice them over to the dark side.
It's the netball girls who aren't allowed to do contact in netball, and then you bring them over here and you're like, hey, here, you can. And they're the ones that really let loose.
Go wild. Yeah. Did you find that, Fabs, when you were at university as well? Lots of people that hadn't played before.
Yeah, so I had only played at university, and I only started in my second year. I'd seen people play. I'd followed rugby with my family, but I hadn't played at all, and I probably didn't remember to pass the ball backwards. I don't think I passed the ball at all.
I was going to say, that's different, isn't it? It's mine.
Still don't really.
Classic forward.
Yeah, exactly.
But I was big enough that I could just hold on to it and run forwards, and that was okay. But so many of us were starting from scratch back then, and it was actually a lot harder to do because rugby was still kind of gaining momentum. We only had one team, so it was really hard to get any kind of game time. It's like great to see that over at Carufka we've got 3 women's teams. We've got a development squad that trains every week as well as the other teams, so there's actual kind of opportunities to get game time, to get playing, and then you can really see people develop through the system.
Yeah, and I think if there's lots of people learning at the same time, everyone's picking it up at the same time, so you're not just having to be the one learning, so probably everyone is learning teaching points all the way along, which works well. So you said you started at Durham, that's your first degree, then you came to Cambridge to do your masters, is that right?
Yeah, so came to Cambridge in end of 2022, can you believe it? Oh my gosh. Yeah, so I came here for my masters, which was a 9-month whirlwind. That was when I first played for Cambridge, first got my blue, played in my first varsity match, which was at Twickenham.
That's not bad, is it?
Get in there before it moved on.
Yeah.
Graduated from my masters, and those past 9 months have been so intense that I couldn't think about anything else. So I hadn't applied for a PhD at the time. So the next thing I knew, I'd graduated, and I was an old girl. I was still hanging about Cambridge because I just loved it and I didn't want to go. So I actually then went over to Shelford for a little bit. Came and joined
there's another lovely link.
Shelford girls.
Yeah.
So that was good fun. So I did that for a year and then applied for a PhD and thankfully managed to come back. So that was last year. And then this year is the second year of my PhD. And I've been captain.
And so you did you become captain this season?
Yeah, so I became captain back in about May. Yeah, May of 2025, and then have been captain for this season.
Which is great, isn't it? And do you find there's a difference having the responsibility of being the captain and having to do different things to when you're just a player?
Yes, definitely. Although. So, Fabs is looking at me. I had quite a unfortunate start to my captaincy where 30 seconds in, I fully ruptured my ACL.
Ooh.
So, I actually haven't played a single... I've played 30 seconds of this season so far. So, we have an on-pitch captain, Izzy Miller. They've been leading the girls so well this season and have done such an amazing job of stepping up to fill that spot. And then I have been captaining in more of the administrative roles and demands.
And have you been shouting from the side?
Oh yes, and shouting very loudly.
And then you can do take notes, and then you can give everyone really good notes at the end, can't you?
Yeah.
And how's the rehab going then? Are you back yet?
So rehab has been very intense, very long. Definitely not what I was expecting. When the physio is back on the 12th in a few days' time, I will have a test to see whether or not I've managed to build up the strength in that leg. So I've not had surgery yet. I'm on the wait list for surgery. So I'll do this test to see whether or not my bad leg is of basically a sufficient strength compared to my good leg. And if I pass that test, then I can see whether or not I can pivot and change direction. And if my knee holds up with that, then we will think about returning to play, possibly for a grand appearance at the varsity match.
I mean, that sounds amazing, and I wish you all the best of luck with that as well. But it's so common. ACL injuries are so common, and it shouldn't be, should it? I feel like there's something going wrong with sport, and I'm going to say football and rugby, that women are getting so many of these ACL injuries. It can't be just that everyone is not doing it right.
There's loads of ACL injuries at the moment. We've always have a few girls each year who do their ACLs. We've got a few girls this year who've done them. And I think the biggest issue is that there's just not enough research into any of it. All kind of studies and research and all of that kind of stuff is always and historically always been done on men. So
women aren't small men. This is the trouble.
We are not small men.
No.
Some of us aren't small at all.
No, I'll say some of us are bigger than the men anyway. But what I mean is that all studies, I was talking to someone, our pelvis sits in a different position, and so therefore if you're where your feet are going to go and your boots and everything, I feel that there's lots to go on, but that's going to have to be another discussion. But I feel every time I hear that someone's hurt themselves like that, I'm thinking then you're out for so long like you have been, and then that could be then you're not getting any of the sport or doing anything that you should be doing anyway. So it's really not fair.
Yeah, the biggest thing I think that they have been looking into has been the connection with a female menstrual cycle.
Yes. And your ligament stretching at certain times. Yeah.
And I am basically a perfect statistic of I tore my ACL right at the point at which my ligaments were at their weakest. And then when I've been doing my rehab, out of interest, I started basically tracking my gym and my rehab sessions with my cycle, which I'd never done before. And it's actually amazing to see how much my strength varies throughout the month. And I have a key moment, a key week where I'm 25% weaker and will genuinely be either doing, if it was, I can't do the maths off the top of my head, but I would be 25% weaker, whether it's lifting 25% less weight or doing the same weight, but I'd only be able to hit 25% less reps.
Yeah. See, that's incredible. And just knowing that from just doing it for yourself, hopefully there will be more research in this, and we'll look back in a few years and say, oh, of course, it was so obvious. Why didn't anyone think of this? But I do feel like I've heard this now more than once, that people are coming awake to that.
It's difficult though, because if you've got your team of 23 players, and then it's like, okay, well, like, show of hands, who can't play this week because of the risk of where you are in your cycle. Like, how do you suddenly you just like lose your
and
cycles syncing up is a thing.
Yeah, definitely.
So it is a real risk, and I think that is something that I know the Welsh international rugby team, the women track. They have to log every morning where they are in their cycle, how they're feeling, and lots of other, I think, Prem and international teams are doing that as well now, just to get some data.
Yeah, because even if you did it for your team, said, right, our team aren't going to play this week of every month, that's not going to coincide with another team's thing. We could end up, but I feel like, it is more complicated than just being able to know what it is, to know what the solution could be is going to be a different thing. But that's where the research is needed, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like there's a lot of research, PhDs could be done in that. But you mentioned the varsity, and that's, I think we should move on and talk about that. Can you explain what a varsity match is?
Yeah, so for Cambridge, the varsity match is a very, very long-standing tradition where Cambridge play our biggest rivals, Oxford, and I can't believe I've just even said the name.
I know, we're all like slightly curled lips there.
Yeah. So we play them, whether it's in rugby or hockey or netball. The two universities will go against each other each year in a huge varsity match clash. And it's basically our main focus of the entire season. We're also in the Bucks leagues, but if you really ask us what we care about, it's beating the Dark Blues. Yeah.
And can I ask what the records have been? Or is that something you don't want to mention? Or is that good?
We're happy to mention it.
Yeah,
I know.
It's been pretty mixed. So the women's varsity matches have been going since 1988. So actually it's quite a long time for women's rugby.
Yeah.
There have been, you tend to go, university is obviously like a really transient place. So you have people coming in. So for a couple of years, one team will be really strong. There was definitely a period where Cambridge were fully dominant in the women's matches. The last couple of years we've had mixed results. So I'm going to do my years now. 2024 was a really good year for the club across the board. For the rugby club, we won 5 out of 6 varsities. So that was a real high point for us.
Yeah.
There have been a couple of losses in there. We drew a couple of years ago. We lost last year. But
so we've got everything to play for this year.
Yeah, absolutely. Coming back stronger.
Yeah, and it used to be at Twickenham, but it's moved now, isn't it, to Saracens Ground, you're saying?
Yeah.
And that's North London.
Yeah, so it's Stonex Ground in North London.
And anyone can come and watch, can't they?
Absolutely.
And when is it? That's a good point.
So it's on the 28th of February. So our first teams are called the Blues. We have the men's and women's Blues matches on the 28th of February, one after the other. And there are tickets available. Come down and watch. If you go on either our website or our Instagram, you'll be able to find links to tickets. And
what are your website and Instagram?
So it's basically CURUFC,
right,
which is a little bit tricky.
Yeah.
If you search Cambridge University Rugby, we'll come up somewhere.
Yeah.
They're just really fun days. Actually, like, it's a really good community family day. You get to watch some rugby. The Stonex Ground is really nice. There's lots of other activities for the kids, lots of food vendors, entertainment.
And I'm guessing the rugby is quite high level as well. I mean, as you say, these are the biggest rivals. And you're saying that other universities do varsity matches, and it's really the biggest rival to that university, which you'd be competing against.
Yeah, so it's basically a university equivalent of your classic derby match.
Brilliant.
So it's the rugby equivalent of the boat races, basically, is what we're playing. That's probably the most famous example of a varsity clash.
So you're training for that now, everybody. And I take your point about university teams being more transient potentially than other teams because, of the 3-year thing. But of course you're doing PhD, so we've got you for a little bit longer.
Back. I had too much
exactly.
But you've got people who just come in for a year and do a master's. We've got people who actually sometimes we don't find players until their 3rd or 4th year, and you wish we'd managed to get them into rugby earlier, but that's just the way it goes.
Yes, so we've got the varsity match on the 28th for everyone who wants to come along and watch, but that is going down to North London. Now, what about games here? When are they, and how can people come watch those if they're interested in seeing some rugby?
Yeah, so our Bucks League games are every Wednesday, and all of our home games are held at the Grange Road sports ground, which, if you haven't passed by lately, has had quite a transformation. The sandy grass pitch, which was hanging on for dear life, has been upgraded to a very, very fancy new 4G or artificial grass pitch, which has been an absolute incredible development for the club.
So whilst everyone else is frozen or rained off at the moment, we're still going.
Still going, yeah.
So, and with regards to our matches...
What time of day are they, sorry?
So if it's a Bucks game, so if it's against another university, they're quite likely to be at about 1 to 2 p.m. kickoff. But we do have some invitational matches coming up, which we sort of use as our games leading up to varsity. So they're our key preparation games. They will be in the evening. So if you keep an eye out on the Instagram and the website, you'll be able to find all the information of all of our upcoming matches and their kickoff times.
We've got a big match coming up on the 18th of February, which will be the big game before varsity, and that's against an invitational team that we put out, and that'll be at Grange Road in the evening. I think it's a 7:30 kickoff, so a really good opportunity to come down and watch the girls at home.
That's brilliant. Well, thank you both for coming in, and I wish you all the best for your rehab, and fingers crossed for the varsity, for both you playing and also beating the other side.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Women's Sports Mix, Cambridge Radio.
You're listening to the Women's Sports Mix with Amy and Alex. We're going to have a look at some football now. Cambridge United. It was 100 appearances for Lauren Webb for their game that they had just before Christmas against Fulham.
Oh, that's good.
And I don't know if I'd mentioned it. So I might have mentioned it. Lauren Rouse also reached 100 appearances or 100 games as a U. That was in November. I can't remember if I said. So
yeah, I sort of. I'm not sure. Yeah.
So I thought I'd mention it just in case. Their game against Luton Town Ladies was postponed following a pitch inspection. That was their January the 4th game. It's been a bit of an up and down season. If we look at the results that were around Christmas in December when we weren't on air, they lost 4-1 to Fulham and they had a 2-2 draw against Actonians. So, the
mixed
point
bag.
Of those, a bit of mixed bags. And next game for Cambridge United women, that's on the 25th against Sudbury, and that's a home game. So their home games are in St Neots. And if we have a quick look at the Division 1 South East table, Fulham are at the top of that. So that was a loss to the league leaders. Norwich, they're always pushing every year, aren't they? They're in second. And Cambridge United, as we said, up and down season, really. So they're mid-table, they're in 7th, which kind of feels about right for how they've done so far. But, halfway through the season, Alex.
Anything could happen, apparently.
Yeah, come on, news. Histon Ladies now, 2 more wins in December for the Stutes against Hitchin Bells and Fulbourn Bluebirds. I caught up with assistant manager Liz Pamplin and asked how it felt to have retained their 100% record coming into 2026.
Yeah, really, really buzzing. It was nice to get into almost, it's a shame to have a break because we've got good momentum, but it was nice to get into Christmas with a really positive run of results behind us and ready to kick on in the new year.
And there were 2 games in December that we haven't talked about on the Women's Sports Mix because we weren't broadcasting then, but 2 great wins, a 2-0 and a 5-0 against Hitchin Bells and Fulbourn Bluebirds respectively. You must have been pleased with those results.
Yeah, really pleased. The game at Fulbourn in particular, because it was a horrible day and there was a squalling storm and it was one of those days where you go and you think, how are we going to turn up with like rain lashing and the pitch being a bit heavy, and the girls were brilliant. Evie scored 4 and Hannah got her first goal of the season, which was lovely. So yeah, we just we were a bit slow for the first 20 minutes, and we just said to them, come on, girls, forget about the conditions, play football. And they really took to the task. So, 4-1 was an excellent result away. And then, just to finish off the year at home against Hitchin, we scored 2 really excellent team goals that day. We were really pleased with the quality of the performance, not just the win that day, but the quality of the football that we showed. And it was a really nice way to round out 2026 for us in the league.
And we're now... frozen pitch era has hit us now in January. So there have been those 2 postponed games. How does that affect things?
It's a little frustrating because, when you're in good form and then you've got essentially what's probably, because we have the Christmas break and then probably we'll have a month off before our first fixture. But it is quite difficult over Christmas as well because we give the girls time off. And Thursdays were Christmas and New Year, so we couldn't get training sessions in. So we put an extra one in on a Friday night, and then we trained last week on Thursday night in the storm. So it's quite nice. We've managed to get some training in, but the fixtures get cancelled. You lose a bit of momentum. But we're pleased, perhaps, to be coming into the next game, having been able to get a couple of training sessions behind us, which might not have been the case had the games not been frozen off. So it's kind of swings and roundabouts, I think, really.
I don't envy you. You have to be really made of stern stuff to be competing in football over winter.
And the girls are absolutely brilliant. The commitment is so good. I mean, as I say, the one on the we had to put an extra Friday night in because we didn't train New Year's Day, and the girls made themselves available, on a Friday evening. And it was freezing cold, and we had to have a different venue, and all the girls made themselves available. We had a really good session. And then last week in the storm, lots of people had cancelled all their plans in terms of we're not going out that night, and we had our full complement. Nobody decided not to come, and we had a really good session in a horrible driving storm last week. So the commitment to the girls is like second to none, and that's why we get the results.
So coming up this weekend, it's County Cup, Linton Granta, that you're playing in that. What are you expecting for this one?
It's nice to get the County Cup started. The County Cup, I love the County Cup as a competition because it allows you to almost get bragging rights of Cambridgeshire, who's the best team. And it's nice to get going. Linton are a new side. This year they play in the County League, so the section of the league below us. But we're really looking forward to a competitive game. They'll be, I'm sure they'll be up for trying to get a nice big scalp like any cup competition. So we're looking forward to it. We'll prepare properly. We'll do our homework on them as best as we can, and we'll get the girls going to start a competition that we got to the final in last year. So we're excited about it.
Back to the league on January the 25th, Dunstable Town Lionesses. What can you tell us about them?
Yeah, they're a good side. They're one of the only sides. I think they're the only side in the league we haven't actually yet played this year in the league. And if all the games had been played so far and they'd won all the games in hand they would actually be the closest team to us in the league. So they've got the best record below us in the league. So therefore it'll be a really tough game, especially at their place. So we're looking forward to a really tough game. But again, we always challenge the girls and say, go out and show you've got the results. You've shown teams that you're very, very good. Let's go out and show every team that. So that's what we challenge the girls to do. Go out and beat the next best team in the league and continue the run. That's what we aim to do anyway.
Thank you very much to Liz Pamplin. And actually, Alex, an extra special thanks to Liz this week because there were technical issues for us recording that.
Another drama, you see. It's always you.
The drama llama Amy strikes again. And Liz coached me through it. She was very patient. It's like she should work with a sports team or something.
It's like that. Yeah, it's funny that. It's encouraging you. Come on, Amy, you can do this.
Funny, she's good at that, yeah.
But you got there. You did get there. And so we were able to hear that. So that was brilliant.
Yes, thank you very much to Liz.
Isn't it good that Histon are doing so well? It's great to see this really positive attitude and playing forward. They don't really think that they can be beaten now, do they? I mean, obviously they can, but in their minds they don't feel that it can be beaten. And that's the way to go into any game for anyone.
No, they've got such ability, such confidence there.
Yeah.
It's the promotion push this year. That's what Darren said when I spoke to him prior to the season, and that's what they're doing.
Well, it's good. We're going to watch that in action, aren't we?
Yeah.
And we're talking about watching that in action. We'll have to go and see. Arrange to go and see another game down there.
Yeah, get down to Bridge Road.
Mm-hmm.
So looking at Cambridge City now, they have picked up some points, a win against Fulbourn, a draw against Biggleswade and a draw against Newmarket. So that's good for them with their new management team in place. And Fulbourn Bluebirds, losses. They've played our teams there.
Yes,
so they've got some losses. And if we look at the table, that does put Fulbourn, they're still at the bottom on 7 points. They're chasing Cambridge City out of relegation now. They're on 10 points. So there is, as we said before, it is still quite close, but Cambridge City have done well to pick up the win and the 2 draws. That has got them out of relegation.
Yeah, and I think that looks like that. Hopefully that momentum will propel them forward now for other games, and hopefully they'll keep that then now and start moving up.
This is Cambridge Radio, Women's Sports Mix.
Cambridge Kodiaks ice hockey now. I spoke to Captain Christine Ashley a little bit earlier, and I started by asking about those great wins against Milton Keynes Falcons. This one was 7-1, and Chelmsford Cobras was 7-5.
Yeah, it was really nice to take the win, and take the win with Milton Keynes and then just kind of keep it going into 2026 so that we have more games won than lost. I think was a nice feeling to go into Christmas with, and then it just kind of picked back up last weekend.
And how did the team feel getting, obviously 7-1, only letting 1 goal in is amazing, but the 7-5 against Cobras is great as well. You got the promotion, you're in the tougher league. How does everyone feel about those results?
I think we're cautiously optimistic. Every game is so different, and especially in this league, you just never know what roster you're going to come up against. You don't kind of know who's going to be on form, who's not, so you can't ever really take anything for granted. I think the Milton Keynes was a really nice win to kind of go into the break with and know, right, we did that. We've proved that we should be here, but now we kind of have to keep it going, and Chelmsford wasn't going to let us kind of get off easy after the last win that we took off of them.
The Chelmsford Cobras game, which was on January the 3rd. Alicia Anderson, 3 goals, 2 assists. Tell me about Alicia's performance.
She did great. We were short benched in terms of forwards, so Alicia and I doubled, and she really pulled a lot of weight, and she was clutch in a lot of big moments. I think a lot of players had some really great game time. Rachel Holland got herself on the board with a goal, which was really nice to see, and all the lines worked really well. When you're doubling, which that means normally you have 3 lines or 4 lines of forwards, doubling means there's just 2 of you as centers. So your wingers are constantly getting a different person with them, and that's hard to do. And so the fact that one, Alicia could pull that out, and then 2, the wingers could really support her was really amazing to see.
And player of the game, someone we've had on the Women's Sports Mix, was Claire Ledbury. Tell me about Claire's performance.
Claire was astounding on D. She was solid like she always is, and she knew exactly where she needed to be. She also really helped kind of feed the play upwards. Our D have been huge for us this season. Even just last weekend, Viv McGee, she got a goal from the point that was kind of a clutch one, kind of sealed the deal for us. So our D have been really great, and Claire kind of leads that a lot. And so it was nice to see her get player of the game and get recognized for it.
And I also have a question about who the poet is at the Kodiaks, because after your 7-1 sort of Christmassy win against the Falcons, someone wrote up a social media post that was the game recap written in the style of the night before Christmas. Who was this?
That would be yours truly.
Oh, Christina, well done. If anyone hasn't seen it, take a look on Instagram. Very good. Well done.
We have a chat where we share different things for comms, and I posted it very early in the morning. It was like, here's option A, here's option B in case you think I'm insane. So
that was very good. Well done. And also 4 goals for you, was it, in that game?
Yeah, it was a big game. Milton Keynes is absolutely a rival, and it was kind of nice to. The first period was a bit shaky. I think we were kind of just feeling out where we were, and then for us to really pull it back was nice to see. So I was really proud of that game.
So Christina, the next game that we've got coming up, home game this weekend, Streatham Storm. How are you feeling about that one?
I always feel nervous before games. Like I can never shake it. Been playing for far too long, but I think as a team, we know what we have to do. We know how to do it. It's just making sure that we're consistent in doing it, and making sure that we don't forget it anytime throughout going over it. So we've got training tomorrow. We've got Streatham this weekend. They're not a team that we can take lightly. They are absolutely a team that can surprise you and can bring a lot to the table. So we'll have to be really primed and ready for that. And I think it is a good way to kind of move into an 8-game stretch. We have got 8 weekends of games. Swindon are 2 of those. Fireby is in there. Milton Keynes, we kind of hit everybody. So it'll be a nice sort of kickoff, and hopefully we can make sure that we show up to play. It's a home crowd, which is always nice.
And then following the Streatham game, it's 2 away games against Swindon Topcats, who are top of the league. Are you already sort of looking at those games on the horizon?
I think we try to take it one game at a time in the sense of we can't really ever be complacent with anybody, but we absolutely always do have it in the back of our mind who we have to play next and who's kind of coming up and how we're going to build into that. Swindon is a really tough team. They've always been a really tough team. They've got lots of great individual players, but they also play very well together because they've been together for so long. So we'll do things like we'll have a video session next week. We'll make sure that we're kind of prepped on what we need to do. We have a smaller squad going to Swindon the first game as well. So it's all of that kind of mixed together. As it approaches, you kind of map out what your plan is going to be. But I think we've got the foundations there. We know we can do this. We held them really great last time. It's just making sure we finish this time.
And let's look at Kodiak's too, who you are the coach of. Bristol Huskies, a 6-1 loss. This was on January the 3rd. You actually had more shots on goal than Bristol, so sounds like quite a lot going on.
It was a really back and forth game. I think we maybe gave them more chances than we wanted to, which is fine. We know that's something that we want to work on and we want to, pushing forward, we know that we really want to build out that defensive structure. Carmen was back in net for us, which was nice to see. Ellie Albin has been our goalie for the last few games. She's fantastic, but it's always nice to have your other goalie back too, so that you've got both of them there. And she faced a tough night. She had 2 penalty shots. I mean, 1 penalty shot is rare in a game, but to get 2 is a bit insane. So she stood on her head for that. And I think it was one of those games. I know lots of people say this, but I think it was really one of those games by all accounts that the scoreline didn't reflect how well they actually did do and how well they played. They just ended up getting shut out by the Bristol side.
Bristol, you see them again as the next game for Kodiak's 2, which is a home game. Home games for Kodiak's 2 aren't in Cambridge. They're at Peterborough Ice Arena, but they are your next game as well.
They are the next game as well, and it should be a good one. They travel such a long way, so for them to do that and to show up and to put on a good show is really nice to see.
Thank you very much to Christina Ashley. So that next home game is this Saturday, January 17th at the Cambridge Ice Arena against Streatham Storm. Face-off is 6:55.
And we are going to be there.
All being well, we will be there.
All being well, and it'll be my first one. You'll
Alex
have to talk me through it. So you'll have to be the expert then.
I said to Alex, it's cold, so
exactly.
Do bring your coat.
So I'll be bringing as if I'm going out for an outside match anyway, but I'm looking forward to it. I spoke to, in fact, Fabs and Phoebe off air, and they were saying that all the rugby lot had gone to see the ice hockey, and they were saying to me, that's really mad, which makes me laugh because Christina was talking about how rugby was crazy. So it's funny how you get into your sport, you don't think about any of the other things that everybody else sees, and they really enjoyed it.
If you've not been to ice hockey specifically, I think it is different because I don't know, it feels like a bit of an event. It's in the evening, there's music and lights and things. It really is different to going to a football or a rugby match, as you might expect.
Yes.
We do recommend, if you haven't been to it, go down to the Cambridge Ice Arena. Kodiaks are brilliant. Go see what they're up to.
Exactly.
This is Cambridge Radio, Women's Sports Mix.
This is the Women's Sports Mix with Amy Gray and Alex Elbro.
Yes. Now, I am going to tell you about something that I've taken up in the new year. New year, new you and all that, new challenge. New wheels, exactly. As I put down in our notes, this is my roller skating era.
Alex has entered the quad roller skating.
Yes,
quad roller skating era.
I did try on my son's old inline skates and decided that they were too dangerous. They're more like snow boots, the inline skates. They're quite big, and I tried them on. I thought that they don't look like I'm going to enjoy those. So they
like plastic on the outside?
Yeah, they're like really solid. Like they're almost like ski boots. Anyway, they went on to Vinted to pay for my new roller skates because, it all started because I went to the Cambridge skate park, the indoor skate park in Cambridge, the warehouse, to their in the volunteers Christmas party. More because of my partner being involved more than me. And I got chatting to them. They're all really lovely in there. So they were asking me in great, when was I going to start skateboarding? Now, I've already said I don't think that's going to be for me because I get too scared and I jump off as soon as anything comes near me. But I was like, I did roller skate as a kid, which we've spoken about before and on here. So after a few mulled wines, I was like, I'm going to get back into roller skating.
Seemed like a good idea then.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then talking to some roller skaters there, they were saying, quads are good for this, inline are good for that. And so I did try on my son's inline. I thought, I think I'm better on the ones I used to wear as a child. Now, if you do the maths, that was a lot of years ago. So the next night, after watching a bit of telly, had a few drinks, went on to Vinted, bought a pair of roller skates. They are secondhand, but very, good condition. They're also bright yellow, so I do look like Big Bird in my head. And then, we're started. So I've noticed on these secondhand sites, if you do want to get into roller skating, there's a lot on there, because I think people have a go, and then if it's not for them, they then sell them. So they're all in really good condition, but they also come a lot of time with all the pads. So mine came with knee pads, elbow pads, and I have also bought padded shorts and wrist guards, and I wear a helmet. So I am like fully kitted up.
Wow.
All the gear, no idea. I went down to the skate park and I got the gear all on. I sort of managed.
How long did that take?
Oh, that takes about half an hour. And then I wiggled along going, just to get from sitting on the chair. Then you're like, how do I get to stand up? I couldn't even do that part. But there are toe stops, so I use those. Mm-hmm. Got there and stood there, and I'm like, so how do you roller skate now? And I'm like wriggling kind of how to get going. Turns out it doesn't, muscle memory for that many years doesn't really work. But after a little bit of working, looking at some videos, I started going, had the help of other people in this park. I basically can get myself up and down very, very slowly. But I have had a free lesson with one of the roller skate coaches last weekend, which she was very supportive, and she was saying, you're doing much more than I thought you were going to do. But I feel like they say that to everyone. And so we were practicing bending down and going along, so that if anyone comes at you, you can go into a ball and then you can roll. But I haven't quite got the rolling part yet.
Oh, like a hedgehog or something.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You put your bristles out. Also, I've been learning bubbles. Do you know what bubbles are?
No idea.
So you see, that's what I was learning. But she calls them lemons, because she thinks a lemon shape is better than a bubble. So you go out with your feet, then back in again. Then you click. Then you go like this.
To get the momentum.
Yeah. So that's what I was learning at the weekend. So, watch this space. I will give you regular updates with my broken arms and legs.
Your roller skating era.
Exactly. And you're going to come and join me, because I believe you're getting yours out of the loft.
My mum looked for some and she sent me a picture. But we're not 100% sure on those, but we think maybe we might have my sister's old skates as well. We're going to find something. If not, I'm sure we'll procure something from somewhere, and I can come along and I can
we'll see how we get on.
Wriggle and hedgehog alongside you in support.
With your bubbles and lemons.
Yeah, bubbles and lemons. I think I used to backwards skate a little bit, but as you said, this was so long ago.
So once I've actually got myself propelling myself forward with my bubbles,
then we'll
and lemons,
worry about.
I think
going backwards.
The next is doing the reverse for going backwards. But yeah, turns out there is a lot more to it than just flinging yourself at the floor.
Well done, Alex. Always good to try something new. Thank you everyone for listening today. There was a lot to catch up on. We've been through a lot, so thank you everyone for listening. Our next show will be in 2 weeks' time. We'll see you then.
Bye.